Hi traders, it's the 27th of October 2015. I've spent the last month or so heavily in development building a new Pivot Confluence Scanner. At the moment you can see the old version, which is a MetaTrader based product that sits away obviously analysing Pivot Confluence data and alerting you as and when a confluence level is hit by price action. Let's show you the new version. The idea behind this is effectively to create a completely platform independent Pivot Confluence Scanner. So this sits it's run in Java FX, and so it can be run in any Windows based environment. It doesn't require MetaTrader at all to run, and obviously that frees you up quite considerably because you don't need to obviously maintain an underlying MetaTrader environment at all. So kind of similar process. We've got basically a load of user definable currency pairs here which we can select and configure as we wish, and we can obviously decide whether we want to show twin confluences, which is just two level confluences, or triple level confluences. We can also decide whether we want to use M levels, intermediate M levels on each currency pair which is currently configured. So if I just click show levels, another little window pops up here, and you can see we've also got some alerts being generated as well. We've got an independent alert window telling us that price is within 10 pips of M2 and the WPP pivot on the Aussie dollar. Obviously there's no time frame, so the period is just all, and it's giving us the date and the time when that was triggered, and also an alert sound file which is set up from this area here, where you can see basically the system divides the controls for the twin level confluences over to this side, and all the triple confluences are controlled here. So if we look at our confluence data, we can see that we're getting a trigger on this cable, which is sterling US dollar. DW means daily and weekly pivots. That's the pivot level there, 153.14, and pivot proximity is how close the pivot levels are to each other, so they're 6 pips apart. And we're getting obviously it's telling us the specific trigger levels. So the daily is an S1 support pivot, and the weekly is an M2 intermediate support pivot as well. And this is our mid price, which is constantly being tracked, and we know that that's 20 pips away from the actual pivot level at the moment. So, and we can set our trigger levels accordingly. So at the moment we're using a trigger level of 30 pips from the pivot level. So if price action comes within 30 pips, we'll start to get alerts being generated. We're also configuring email alerts as well for both twin and triple level confluence events. And if I just briefly look at my email now, I'll just minimize these windows, and you can see here this is an example of the pivot levels, the email alerts which are being sent. So prices within, and this is Pivot Scanner Confluence Alert, prices within 18 pips of S1 and WM2 on GBP USD. So very powerful and very configurable tool. If you want to just leave the system running, all you do is you can close down the actual control interface, product catalog comes up, and you can minimize this somewhere, stick it somewhere in the corner of the screen, or you can just basically run it in a minimized environment along with the product catalog, and you're good to go. So it doesn't get in the way of what you're doing. You can obviously run any trading platform independently if you wish to. Let's have a look at some other interesting features as well. So we'll just go back in, load the scanner again, the scanner controls. When the scanner is first loaded, it basically queries the database, and it'll take a few seconds to do that, and then once the database has been queried, it downloads all the confluence data for that day, for daily, weekly and monthly pivots, which then allows you to then very quickly configure the confluence data. As you can see, it's very, very reactive, so no performance lags or anything like that. There's no server-side querying going on here. This is just all real-time data run from a local set of Confluence data which the system has basically dumped into the Java program. If we hide this Confluence data, the system will stop scanning for alerts. That's the current configuration at the moment. Obviously that can be changed if people want to change that or aren't happy with that. So I just click show levels to start scanning again. And obviously I can show the alert history as well down here. So if you don't want to have email alerts, you decide you want to turn those off, and you just want pop-up alerts if you're actually trading, that's no problem. You can just configure this. You can clear the alert history if you want to. We can obviously define how closely the pivots we display. So if we want to look at, say, Confluence levels which are 5 pips apart for these two pairs, so euro dollar and cable, then obviously you can now see the pivot proximity is now 1, 3 and 0 pips apart for these particular Confluence levels. We're not getting any triple Confluence levels for these particular pairs, and obviously we're using trigger levels of 30 pips around this pivot level. But obviously I can change that very quickly I can change that to 10 pips for that particular pivot level there, as you can see. So we got 2 pivot levels on cable, one at R1 and WM and MM3, and the other one at M1 and the central monthly pivot. That's basically how it works. We can set the alert intervals this is in minutes. So I can separate the intervals for each specific pair by a certain number of minutes, which is trader defined. So there you go, much neater, much more configurable, much more granular, much more powerful alert system. And there you go, hope you find that of interest. It's currently on a subscription basis, so moving away from the one-time only fee. We've got to maintain obviously this server data and all the back-end systems which support this. So if you want highly accurate pivot confluence data in real time and you want alerts basically triggered around that, this is the right place to come. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me at info@fxalgotrader.com. Thanks for watching.